The world's oceans would literally burst. Every single person on Earth owning a luxury mega yacht would transform our planet into something unrecognizable. We are talking about 8 billion individual vessels, each needing a mooring, each consuming massive amounts of fuel. Imagine a yacht for every man, woman, and child. These vessels average perhaps 75 meters in length, or about 246 feet of pure extravagance. The combined length of these yachts, side by side, would stretch from Earth to the moon and back nearly 10 times, covering approximately 7,500,000 kilometers. The sheer volume of steel, aluminum, and rare earth elements needed for these hulls and complex electronics would deplete global resources in a flash, leaving nothing for other vital industries. Roughly 4 billion tons of steel alone would be required. Consider the fuel consumption. A typical mega yacht burns around 500 liters of diesel fuel every single hour it operates. Multiply that by 8 billion yachts operating for even just one day for 12 hours. We would consume every single drop of fossil fuel on the planet in a matter of hours, perhaps even minutes, necessitating entirely new energy sources. The global air quality would plummet to catastrophic levels, a thick smog covering every continent, making breathing outdoors a health hazard for billions. The ozone layer, already fragile, would practically vanish under this immense chemical assault from exhaust fumes. Marine life would face an immediate extinction event from deafening noise pollution, chemical spills, microplastic contamination, and constant propeller movement disturbing every habitat. Coral reefs, already under immense pressure, would be pulverized into dust by anchors and hull scrapes within days, destroying vital ecosystems. Our current port infrastructure, designed for commercial shipping and a limited number of recreational vessels, would simply cease to function. There would be no space to dock a yacht, there would be no space to refuel a yacht, there would be no space for routine maintenance on a yacht. Every single shipyard on Earth would be perpetually overwhelmed, needing to service billions of vessels annually, approximately 8 billion checkups each year. This would require perhaps 300 times our current global capacity to keep all these yachts afloat and operational, demanding new dry docks. The demand for skilled labor like captains, engineers, chefs, and deckhands would skyrocket beyond all reason. Every adult would practically need to become a certified crew member just to maintain their own vessel, a completely new societal structure based on maritime servitude. The global economy would undergo an unprecedented transformation. Money, as we know it, would lose all meaning when everyone possesses the ultimate luxury item. The value of a luxury item when everyone owns one becomes exactly zero, a fundamental shift in economic principles. New currencies, perhaps based on access to clean water or undamaged land, would quickly emerge as true commodities. Supply chains for essential goods would completely collapse. How do you transport food and medicine and other vital supplies when every waterway is clogged with private yachts blocking all commercial routes? Fishing would become utterly impossible, making global food security a distant memory, leading to widespread famine. Freshwater for 8 billion yachts for showers, swimming pools, and drinking would be an insurmountable challenge requiring perhaps 500 billion liters daily just for onboard use alone, equivalent to 50,000 Olympic swimming pools. Accidents and collisions would be a constant pervasive nightmare across all oceans. Navigational systems would overload and crash under the sheer data volume of billions of vessels. Air traffic control for planes is complex. But imagine the same for a three-dimensional ocean crowded with billions of fast-moving objects, many operated by inexperienced owners, leading to frequent disasters. Search and rescue operations would become obsolete because every single point on the ocean would be an incident waiting to happen, making help impossible to provide. Waste management would be another massive environmental problem. Each yacht produces waste of various kinds daily. 8 billion yachts would generate an unimaginable mountain of plastic sewage and general refuse, turning the oceans into a giant floating landfill within weeks, polluting every marine environment. This level of pollution would make plastics in our oceans today seem like a tiny, insignificant speck of dust. The very concept of a coastline would irreversibly change. Beautiful natural beaches would be replaced by endless lines of docked or anchored yachts extending miles offshore, creating artificial shorelines. Small island nations would be completely submerged under the sheer weight and displacement of so many vessels, altering global geography. The average sea level could even rise slightly from the displacement volume alone if all yachts were simultaneously afloat in a confined space, adding to coastal erosion. Tourism would shift from visiting beautiful coastal areas to simply finding a small patch of open water to anchor in a luxury in itself that few could truly enjoy. The privacy and exclusivity once associated with yacht ownership would completely vanish, making the entire concept absurd and pointless for everyone. The psychological impact on humanity would be profoundly significant. The endless pursuit of more, bigger, better would hit a literal physical wall. When everyone has the ultimate status symbol, there is no status left to achieve, no aspirational goal. It would force a complete reevaluation of what true luxury actually means for human happiness. Perhaps genuine silence or complete solitude would become the new ultimate luxuries people actively sought after years of constant noise and crowds. The sheer noise of millions of engines, generators, and onboard entertainment systems would create a constant, inescapable drone across the planet 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. One might yearn for the simple peace of a quiet natural beach or a pristine forest, something that would become incredibly rare and precious beyond belief. Even the simple act of traveling across an ocean would be an epic journey, a continuous navigation through a labyrinth of other identical vessels stretching for thousands of kilometers. Maritime law would need to be rewritten entirely from scratch to accommodate this unprecedented situation, creating new global governing bodies. National boundaries in the water would become meaningless concepts in such a crowded environment. The responsibility of maintaining such an expensive asset would be immense for everyone, a constant financial drain. Fuel costs, maintenance costs, crew salaries, if you could even find crew to hire, would bankrupt families overnight, leading to massive social unrest. The energy required to simply exist on such a yacht with all its amenities would be staggering, making modern electricity grids seem utterly puny. The number of electrical components on board each vessel, from navigation to entertainment, would require a massive increase in raw material extraction and production, causing environmental havoc. Building these 8 billion yachts would mean transforming every available factory and manufacturing plant on Earth into a yacht production facility. We would need to invent entirely new ways to source materials at an unprecedented rate and scale for decades on end. Entire forests would be felled for interior paneling and decking, and furniture within months, leading to massive deforestation. Every single mine on Earth would be operating at maximum capacity to provide metals and minerals, destroying landscapes. The global workforce would be completely redirected to building, servicing, and operating these billions of vessels, shifting all economic priorities. Education systems would be entirely overhauled to teach yacht maintenance and navigation to every child from a very young age, starting at 5 or 6 years old. The impact on global weather patterns from the combined heat output of 8 billion engines and air conditioning units would be incredibly significant. Localized climates would warm drastically near dense yacht populations, creating new oppressive microclimates. The sheer amount of heat released into the atmosphere and oceans would contribute to a rapid acceleration of climate change effects globally affecting rainfall and temperatures. The water itself would become a murky cesspool of exhaust fumes, discarded materials, and general pollution, making it toxic. Swimming would be utterly unthinkable in most coastal regions due to health risks. Diving would reveal not vibrant coral reefs, but endless sunken debris, tangled anchor chains, and garbage, transforming marine biology into a graveyard. This scenario of universal yacht ownership is not a utopian dream, but a logistical, environmental, and societal apocalypse. It highlights the finite nature of our planet's resources and the delicate balance of our ecosystems. The number of challenges, each requiring an impossible solution, would be in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, making it unmanageable. The oceans would be a living monument to human excess and resource mismanagement. Every single square kilometer of ocean would be under intense human pressure from these vessels, leaving no untouched areas. The very notion of wilderness on the high seas would be completely eradicated forever. The beauty of the open ocean would be lost forever, replaced by a vast, endless floating city of metal, glass, and human refuse. The world would quickly realize that universal luxury is an inherent oxymoron when that luxury is resource-intensive and environmentally destructive. The silence of the open water, something once taken for granted, would be a lost treasure cherished only in memories. The value of the sun rising over an empty horizon would become immeasurable, a truly priceless sight that no money could buy. It is a profound thought experiment that swiftly spirals into a nightmare scenario, revealing uncomfortable truths about sustainability, human desire, and collective resource management for our shared planet. The sheer scale of such an undertaking makes it impossible a true fantasy that can never be.